Another week, another race as the Club UK and Ireland Skip Barber Racing School Series heads itself over to the fast, technical, moderately difficult Lime Rock Park. Coverage will start next here, only on RaceSpotTV.
The NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing.com has officially begun.
What is it about speed? Do these rivals chase speed because they can? Or because they can't help it? IndyCar. The heart of racing. Go to IndyCar.com for live timing and scoring, upcoming race details, and to join the conversation.
Yesterday, the Verizon IndyCar Series once again started, which represents the top ladder of American open-wheel motorsports. But the Club UK and Ireland Skip Barber Racing School Series, that is where drivers hone their talent and hone their skills as they once again do battle in the Club UK and Ireland Skip Barber Racing School Championship. Qualifying is already underway here at Lime Rock Park. It's a track that drivers are all too used to, as it's where they start their iRacing journey, and they've got themselves a total of 3 laps here to get themselves as high up the field as possible. It's currently Sebastian Job, who has actually completed his laps, who is already done with qualifying there, but you can see a couple of other people are still going on the racetrack, as is Rich Jones, who is working himself right now down towards turn number 6. Up the hill he comes, and we saw, of course, last night, Sunday Night Skippies, it was the Skip Barber 2K World Cup in action, but now we are back with Club UK and Ireland, and Will Vincent along with Rachel Whiteford. There's qualifying up in your screens. The biggest movers and shakers so far is currently Job from Mercer, from Williams, from Daniels, Brennan rounding out your top 5. However, the entire top 5, they have done their qualifying. Having a look at Stuart Adcock there, he loops it on what is his final lap of qualifying. He will not be able to improve any further in qualifying. And well, it's close course qualifying here today, Rachel, because this track, it is that narrow and it is that small that realistically you can't get away with having a huge haggle of cars on the racetrack like this. We've got 32 of them attempting to qualify here today.
Well, good evening, Will. We do indeed. In Lime Rock Park, it is short, it is twisty, it's technical. We always see amazing racing here, but as you say, very tight course for open qualifying. So much traffic would be a factor, we wouldn't really see representative lap times. 7 turns, but my god, it's one hell of a racetrack.
Yeah, we've only got a couple of people now to complete their qualifying laps. We're working on board with Dean Prime in the number 197 car. He's all the way down in the field at the moment. We have still got Brendan O'Brien, and if actually they've all completed their laps now. Just having a look through the timing and scoring. This will be an in-lap now for Dean Prime. We can see he's bringing that car down. No pitting, of course, in the Club UK and Ireland Skip Barber Racing School Series. That's a difference compared to Sunday Night Skippies, where the drivers race for 40 minutes with a mandatory pit stop. But let's run you through then what is your currently unconfirmed but likely to be final starting grid for this, the second round of the championship. Well, there you can see then it will be Sebastian Job starting this race here today on pole position. Qualifying time of 58.574 seconds. We talk about how short this track is. Lap times are under a minute for pretty much your entire field. Keep Sharp in the second place. Mark Mercer in third. And then Clark Williams on the outside of row number 2. Matthew Daniels in P number 5 with Dominic Brennan in 6th. Stuart Adcock in the 7th position. Then it'll be Brendan O'Brien in P number 8. 9th place, Rafael Draskas. Rich Jones in 10th. Tim Adcock in 11th. And then Fahim Atanides running out your top 12. Then we'll cycle that one back through once again. You can see Roderick Savidovic in the 13th position. You got yourself Wayne Sanderson in 14th, Mark Turner in the 15th position, Graham Forrest in 16th spot, and then Chris Simpson, Adrian Bidwell, Mike Cannon, Rob Green running out your top 20. There's a final look then at the remainder of your qualifying field as well. BMW welcomes you to Lime Rock Park, Rachel, the Club Yukon Island Series welcomes you to Lime Rock Park as well. It's going to be packed here today, especially in the opening laps of this race.
Certainly will, of course, will. Definitely exciting car, especially with the racing here. Speaking though of St. Petersburg and IndyCar Series, let's not forget, the Barber Series actually is one of the support races for that, and they ran at St. Petersburg this weekend just gone. Well, clearly going to be more exciting racing here because, as we know, these guys are some of the best GP racers in sim racing. Love watching them every week, and we are for a treat. Lime Rock never disappoints in this car.
Oh yeah, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, of course, RaceSpotTV, your home for some of the biggest events in all of sim racing. If you missed it, check out coverage that we had over the weekend of the Icing.com, 12 hours of Sebring. And of course, our next big event, Rachel, as we're talking open wheel cars, as well as World Championship Series, coming up the weekend after Memorial Day weekend, we are the official home of the 2015 iRacing.com Indianapolis 500.
Yes, we are indeed the Indy 500, the cornerstone of motor racing in the world. It is certainly one of the biggest events in iRacing every year, and wow, we're going to be here covering it live for you.
Well, we'll step aside for just one moment, ladies and gentlemen, as qualifying is about to be completed. We'll be back for the race after this short message.
The NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing.com has officially begun.
Cars are lined up on the grid. The RaceSpot.com World Championship Grand Prix Series. We are underway. They all come down into turn 1 for the first time. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, getting ourselves ready for the start then, here on RaceSpotTV of the second round of the Club Yukon Island Skip Barber Racing School Championship. There, one more time, is a look at your qualifying results. Job from Sharp, from Mercer, Williams, Daniels, Brennan, Adcock, Brian, Draskas, and Jones. We are just a couple of moments away. Our aerial coverage today is brought to you by And One Design, official graphics partner of RaceSpotTV. Let's have a look then. You can see, we'll zoom that camera in. There's a look at your field as they are getting themselves now ready for the first corner of this event. The laps here are incredibly small. They are all going to be under 1 minute. Qualifying was separated by just over a second and a half for today, but it's a technical track. Qualifying is important, and if you want to get anywhere in this race, you need to make sure you get track position early. So this is going to be one race, but who knows, it could well be exciting. Here's a look then at your field. You can see it is Sebastian Job on pole position. Any moment now, those engines will get themselves ready to get ready for another race for the Club UK Island Skip Barber Racing School Series. We're, of course, with you all year long. It's a calm before the storm here on RaceSpotTV, but now those engines are revving. The second round of the championship will start right now. Good start there by your first couple of rows. They work themselves down in towards turn one for the first time. You can see Joe a little bit sluggish off the line. That allows that number 32 car to look down to the outside. A little bit of contact there in your battle for the race lead as they come down in towards one for the first time. They all survive, but that number 32 car, Rachel, almost having a huge moment. That would have wiped out about half the field.
It would indeed, and a lucky escape from those guys there. And the back end of the field, Will, they're through turn one as well. Pretty safe right now, of course, funneling through to that dangerous, difficult turn two. Probably the hardest one on the track. Getting through okay. This is a good start.
Yeah, we're adding on board with Martinez. He had some issues on Sunday night here in the Skip Barber 2K World Cup. You can see right now he's working himself alongside Roderick Savidovic. He's got to push a little bit high off the corner. Got to be careful. If you touch the grass and you turn that car, you very easily could end your race. But here's a look a little bit further on down the pack. It is currently Job leading from Mercer. Chief Sharp, Rachel, has fallen down into that third position, although he is going to really have to push now to get himself back into contention. Otherwise, it very easily could become a two-horse race. Oh, we've got a car turned off around at the rear of the field. Sorry.
We do indeed. Just going to find out for you. Oh, a couple of cars spinning there. Actually, we have 3 cars off. Those are the cars of Daryl Taylor. I believe there's also David Grunnell there and one other, Will.
Yeah, let's get a look then on board. We see this was with David Grunhill. He started working himself up the hill, and well, he was down in that final corner, Rachel. We talked about how narrow this track is, and they were working themselves 2, almost 3 wide down into that final corner of the racetrack. And well, 3 into 2 doesn't really work, but just one driver stepping out, creating a huge concertina effect, and that is what bunched these drivers up, and that is what led to that huge contact. Grunhill losing it all by himself, and from there, it was a synchronized spinning effect. So they worked themselves down towards the start-finish line.
Indeed, and really unfortunate there, of course. That corner, very fast corner, not really much room for 2 wide, never mind 3 wide, Will. So definitely something you might have thought about before getting to that corner. Big difficulty though, because you need that speed at the final corner. You need to be 100 miles an hour as you exit from turn 7, just to get that perfect run down to the long straight into turn 1. Although we have seen previously in races here though, Will, turn 1 is the biggest point for defense. The leader can actually run that middle line through 1, which means either if you want to attack, you have to go low or high, and, well, neither line is perfect.
Yeah, Rafael Draskas was just about able to move himself up 1 position. He's now into the 8th spot on the racetrack. A little bit further ahead, you can see we've got ourselves a train of 6 drivers right now. It's Sebastian Job leading the way. The gap between himself and second place is half a second as they work themselves up the hill once again. It's a 25-lap race here. It's a sprint race as Atanides is still battling with Roderick Savidovic in the mid-pack here. And Savidovic also putting that pressure on, Rachel, to that driver, Tim Adcock, as they work themselves down now in towards the final corner once again.
Yeah, they are indeed, of course. Leaders all single file through there, and well, realistically it is a single file corner, as I said. But field's spreading out now. We've got a couple of packs forming, of course. Oh, contact towards the rear, I think.
Yeah, we've got Fahim Atanides, so he's been involved in incidents 2 nights in a row then. This one down into the final corner, Atanides, an incident for him. You can see the front end of that car completely destroyed for him. So he will be classified as all the way down the field. And well, self-spin, Rachel, we see now 2 drivers have incidents down in the final corner here. And it's very touchless. And actually, he lost it on a curb.
Yes. And we had a 3rd car off there, actually, Will. We also had Jimmy Clark losing the control of the back end of that car into turn 1, of course. Yeah, Antonides, he put his wheels on that dirt and gravel on the outside of turn 7. It's just so difficult for those cars. You get that wheel there, it spins, he got loose, you saw him go to the right, and he come back to the left. So, just unfortunate, you've got to not truck out too far there, but you've got to use as much as you can.
Yeah, they can see Jimmy Clark's incident at the back end of that replay. Your top 3 drivers is right on board then with the driver in 3rd place. Keith Sharp almost made contact. As you see Williams now having himself an incident. He is pushed off himself on the racetrack. And well, Rachel, this final corner is destroying drivers here today.
Yeah, very tricky, Will, of course. High speed corner, as mentioned, it demands as much as you can give it. You really need to throw everything you have towards it, but it bites. It's fast, but it's difficult. Of course, that tracking out towards that gravel, every inch needs to be used, but you take too much, it'll take it back.
Well, gap to the race lead from P number 2 to your race leader. It's just 2 tenths of a second that time by. Joe pushing himself a little bit wide as they work himself up the hill. That allowed Mercer to close that gap on that run down to the second to last corner. They work themselves down the hill. Once again, we go back along board with that driver in P2 right now. It is Mark Mercer out of the final corner. They come down towards the start finish line. Not going to be quite close enough there to make the pass into that first corner. A little bit further down, you can see as the drivers work themselves down towards the start finish line. You've got yourselves another pack forming, and here you can see Mark O'Connell. He's going to think about trying to make a move right now in that number 94 car round the outside down towards turn number 1 over Mark Turner. Nowhere near able to make that pass. Dick and actually going to put himself under a bit of pressure from Graham Forrest, although Forrest pushes himself very wide down into turn number 1.
Yeah, big news here, Will, actually. Fahim Antonidez will not finish this race without a pit stop. He, of course, had front damage from that impact into the wall. He has lost the nose cone on his car, and we know that does affect its drag. They're all running 2.1 gallons, and we know Antonidez is, in fact, running 2.1 gallons of fuel. Yeah, good for 26 laps with a nose cone. Good for about 20 without, so he's going to have to come to pit road.
Yeah, as you can see there, Brendan O'Brien in the middle of the pack right now. Roger Savidovic just ahead of him as we have a look from the rear then of Savidovic. This is the battle for P9, P10. The gap is currently a quarter of a second. As you see Savidovic defending heavily, we've got Tim Adcock there involved in an incident. There you can see him. Adcock is turned around. That again, Rachel, is on the exit of the final corner. That 21 car is all beaten and banged up.
Yeah, very difficult. We've seen so many cars getting off there, and it's just going to cost people more and more and more as this goes on. Guys have got to realise they need to just take a little slower than they might want to just to get the optimal run. It's a decision between going off the track and crashing or being a little bit slower down the straight. They just need to gain.
With Adcock, I believe he might have got himself a bit of a love tap from behind. We have a look from the rear then of that driver of Tim Adcock, and this is out of the second to last corner, working himself down towards the final corner. That's the number 80 machine right behind him of Roderick Savidovic coming off the corner. There you can see there, Savidovic just touching the back there, pushing Adcock off, and from that point, Adcock is classified as out of the race, but Mark Mercer in the interim has taken that race lead away from Sebastian Jobe, although Jobe is hanging it on back there, down in towards turn number 1. It's Mercer from Jobe, from Sharp, from Daniels, from Brennan. Your top 5 separated by just 1.8 seconds. It's a 4-horse race though out front. Sebastian Jobe has lost that race lead, Rachel.
Yeah, he has. Of course, Mercer, we know he's been quick around here historically. He's always been very good. And Daniel's really impressed to see him up here with these guys. He's hanging with the front pack. No trouble for that car. Sharp, he's a new one up here though. Definitely loving to see what he can do.
Yeah, up the hill they work themselves once again then, and you can see there is Jobe just behind him. You can see Keith Sharp, of course. Sharp almost crashed into Sebastian Jobe down into towards turn number 1. As they can see, we're right on board with Sharp on the exit of that second to last corner. Underneath the bridge they come into that final corner once again. Now, will Jobe get the momentum to be able to capitalise as they work themselves towards the start finish line once again? Here you can see then a look from our aerial coverage. They come down in towards turn number 1. Jobe will look down to the inside, down in towards turn number 1. Battle for the race lead, and Rachel Mercer allows him to have it, and that's the mind games already coming into play. Although Sharp will be alongside as they work themselves in the exit of 1. Sharp deciding to fall back into line once again.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Mercer, he did open that door. He left it there for Jobe to take. He wants Jobe to work himself and actually start making passes and try and use himself up. Of course, fuel will be close here, and he just wants that car. Yeah, you go ahead, you do your thing, you exhaust all your energy. I'm going to wait for you to get tired, and I'm going to make my pass. So, Mercer playing a long game here, and looking to save a little bit of fuel behind him.
Robert Plumley right now is battling along, and this is with Rob Green, battle for position. We saw some big incidents here down in turn number 5 as they work themselves up the hill. Battle for P18, P number 19 on the racetrack, and a little bit further ahead of them, you see Roderick Swedish still battling it out. We're at Brendan O'Brien. This is the battle for P number 8, P number 9. We look for the rear of O'Brien, so work themselves towards start-finish line. And here's the different thing between your leaders, as Mercer, by the way, has gone back to the race lead. This is down in towards turn number 1, Rachel, so Mercer playing a little bit of hopscotch there with Sebastian Joe. Neither of them necessarily want to lead at this point of the race.
No, they don't. They're really testing each other right now, Will. They want to see exactly what the other one has for later in the race. Although the other one's letting them go at this stage, so they don't have to give their hand up. You don't want to have to defend and let someone pass you and work out how to do it. Whereas now they're saying, okay, you want to attack me? Here, have it. You can't see my cards.
Yeah, there you can see a look from on board of Mark Mercer. You can see Sebastian Joe didn't take that inside line, that middle line that Rachel was talking about just a moment ago, as Mercer moves himself to the front of the field once again. So it's now Mercer leading from Job, from Sharp. They are your top 3, although Brennan is still sticking with this one, and Adcock isn't too far back as we have a look there with Brennan. Here you can see Sebastian Job not going to be anywhere near close enough to make that pass in towards 1 this time by. Your top 4 are still going for positions. We've got a little bit of scrapping going on behind here. There's a number 94 car side by side there for position. Savidovic also working himself side by side right now. That is with that number 23 car, Brendan O'Brien, and O'Brien's able to hold on a little bit further back. You say we had that Chris Simpson involved in a bit of a scrap. Mark Turner, Wayne Tannington going on. It's all kicking off in your mid-pack, Rach.
Yeah, definitely is right now. Savidovic on the back end there of O'Brien. He really wants his place badly. Behind him, though, that fight seems to have petered out somewhat, and it's definitely spread on the track. But those cars are going to bunch back up once again, and they'll go at it a second time, Will.
Indeed.
Oh, side by side there with Savidovic and O'Brien.
Yep, so here you can see there's Savidovic down to the inside as they work themselves down into the second to last corner. We go on board with that driver, or Savidovic, and here you can see out of the final corner he will come, and he will get that pass complete now over, no, yes he will, he'll get that pass complete over Brendan O'Brien. In fact, O'Brien now is going to have a bit of company from Chris Simpson as they work himself down towards start finish line once again. There you can see the number 8 machine, Chris Simpson on the inside, O'Brien on the outside. O'Brien concedes that spot as he's lost 2 spaces in the space of 1 lap. Here's your biggest movers and shakers in the race so far. Mercer's up 2 positions. We have Savidovic up 5 spots, but 9 places gained right now, Rachel, by Chris Simpson. He is on a charge.
Yep, Chris Simpson definitely one of the big movers here today, and a really good run from him right there. So, impressive positioning, probably out of position in qualifying, Will. We know he's got some decent pace, and of course, another one to keep an eye on there, Savidovic up from 13th. Big move. But right now, of course, Andy K, he's up from 24th to 15th.
Yeah, as you can see, down in 18th position is actually, we've got ourselves Mark Turner turned around there. That is on the run down to the second to last corner. So Turner involved in an incident of sorts. Let's get ourselves another look of that. That will actually move Andy Kay up into the 14th position now on the racetrack. And let's have a look on board. This is it, down into the second to last corner. Does he get helped around there? No, he doesn't. He clips that curve, and it's a high curve there on the inside of the corner. And thankfully, Rachel, no one collected him in the melee.
Well, that's definitely an important consideration there. He doesn't want that to happen. It's very easy once you lose control here to be hit by another car and make a bad situation far worse. Those curbs are huge. They're almost half as big as this Skip Barber race car will, so they can really upset you. The exit curbs aren't so bad, it's the apex ones are quite high. Of course, this is a school track in this layout, and I kind of want to teach you to stay off them.
Yeah, here you can see Sebastian Joe battle for the race lead then as he worked himself down towards start-finish line once again. It's Mercer leading. Job in second place. Job looking down to the inside. Not this time. He'll have to go down to the outside as they come down in towards turn number 1. That's a first real test for Job. Can he stick it around the outside? The question will be, well, the inside is going to be on the next turn. It's going to be left. Job can't hold it in the second apex there, and that's the issue of that double apex left-hander as we've got 2 more drivers out. You see David Grunhill now classified as out of the race, as well as James Steele.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for those guys. This track does tend to eat race cars, Will. Very difficult, very old surface, and just unforgiving. Most of those cars out from their own incidents rather than anybody helping them. As we saw with Job and Mercer back there, of course, Job did not pinch Mercer down quite as hard as you would. If you can hold them right against that inside line, you can have that pass completed before the late apex of turn 1, Will. rather than all the way through to the apex itself where he had him. So, Job not quite showing him everything right now, making a couple of failed attempts to the outside before I think he'll make his move, which will probably be exactly the same, but just tighter.
Well, here you can see Brendan O'Brien running himself in P number 10 right now. You can see coming out of the final corner, Chris Simpson just ahead of him, battling still. Roger Davidovic alive, battle for the race lead. Job round the outside for the second time in a row. Has to tuck back into line once again. Now, the thing for Job is he wants to know how hard he can push it without allowing Keith Sharp to get alongside him. So this is still a little bit of strategy games being played right now. There's the gap between Job and Sharp. It is just 2 tenths of a second, the gap out front. Well, that is a little bit more. It is a little bit less, actually. It's a tenth and a half of a second. Job almost considered swinging it down to the inside there, down into 6. He's mighty close right now. He might be thinking of making a pass down into the second to last corner. Job down to the inside. Can he hold it? The answer's going to be no.
Now, can't make that stick there. Had his front wing alongside Will, but front wing is not enough, as Nico Rosberg well knows. And yeah, sorry, I made a Nico Rosberg joke. I like those, they're funny. But once again, Job having a look here. He's going to go to the outside again. Part of me thought it was part of a job to try and get him pinched down, Will, hold him on the inside line. But I think this is a setup late in this race. Mercer's going to expect him to go to the outside. Job's going to fake it and duke to the inside.
Yeah, and don't forget, it's not only Nico Rosberg who's been struggling with front wings, it's also been Will Power. For those of you from the United Kingdom who missed it, the reason why Montoya won is because Will Power made a move, and, well, he lost one of those many end plates that was lost.
Wait a second, Will.
Yes?
Are you saying Will Power was going to win something and choked?
Yes. Let's not go there, because I'm better at calling on about this than anyone else. I'm bored with Job down second to last corner once again. I'll give you an update on retirees in the race so far. You have yourself just 3 of them. Clark Williams, David Grunhill and James Steele, all classified as out of the race. By the way, you saw it on your screen, Steele and Grunhill. The reason for that is Grunhill actually ran into Steele after he had an incident all by himself, and you can see Job to the outside once again, down in towards turn 1, battle for the race lead. Looks as though Job's going to be a little bit closer this time by, but he immediately tucks back into line. This means he can take the inside line through turn 1 and potentially try and slide down the inside into 2, and you see immediately there that 33 car Mercer recognised what Job was doing, as behind we've got ourselves side by side Davidovic battling it out with O'Brien once again, Rach.
They are indeed. Davidovic through this time, though. He's past O'Brien. That has moved him, of course, to 8th position. O'Brien not wanting to let this one go right now. Of course, Simpson will be the beneficiary if these two tangle any harder.
So a little bit further down, Andy Kay under pressure right now from Adrian Bidwell. This is a battle for 14th, 15th position. You can see there it's 2 Radical cars running pretty much line astern. And behind him you've got yourself 2 Marlboro-ish Penske-looking cars as they're battling in P number 15 and 16. Yeah, close enough. On the racetrack. It's a little bit further ahead. You still got yourself this 3-way battle. It's between Davidovic, O'Brien and Simpson. Down the hill they come. It's all sorted itself out in the front for the time being. It's a calm before the storm there. Although you got yourself Sharp battling it out with Brennan, who's battling it out with Daniels here, and this is now once again a 5-horse race. Who's right on board with Daniels. All of this scrapping going on at the front, Rachel, means that now Daniels has come to join the party.
He has indeed. Dominic Brennan, definitely a strong contender here. We know he's got the pace. He's Sharp, well, a bit of an unknown at this stage, but he's been holding on to them better than anybody else right now. Matthew Daniels, definitely the star of the season so far. He's had great potential, and I think he will get a win this season. Of course, this race might not well be it. The old horses of Mercer and Job going at it once again, but Daniels has shown incredible pace. He will be here to pick anything up if these two tangle.
Yeah, so you can see a look there as some of your drivers work themselves down in towards that fabled second to last corner. You can see this field all shrinking itself down. They are single file for the time being, but they're going to get themselves a lot closer in the final laps of this race. Although you can see already Sebastian Joe back down to the inside, down outside, sorry, down in towards turn 1. Can he make a stick this time by? Actually, he almost did there. He was ahead at the first apex of the corner. The issue is that tightening radii of turn 1. It's a double apex left-hander there, and Job still can't make it work. Mind games potentially set up play. Your top 5 separated right now by just 1.1 second as we've got ourselves a little bit of side-by-side racing as well. Bidwell battling with Andy Kay there. You can see the 2 Rover cars trying to figure out, Rachel, if they are indeed radical enough.
That's definitely one way of putting it. I know you love that phrase, Will. Andy Kay doing a great job here of holding those 2 cars up. Bidwell and Turner just can't quite find a way to get past. Yeah, those Marlboro cars looking rather impatient, but Andy K, we know he's a very experienced racer. He can hold them off.
Well, one driver who we expect to see on pit road in about 3 laps time, as Rachel alluded to earlier on, was Fahim Atanides. Has himself some damage there to his front wing, and that is going to really hurt the draft of these cars, and that means that he will have to come in to make himself a splash and dash. As you can see, actually, we've got ourselves Matthew Daniels on pit road, Rachel, with the same situation. So Daniels is on pit road. I think he might have just had himself a bit of a contact, actually, because that car all of a sudden stopped behaving itself.
Yeah, it did, and, well, that's a big problem, of course. He's missing the very tip of his nose cone there, so similar situation to Antonides. I mean, this is something that happened to me, Will. Lost the front nose in lap 1, and, well, 2.1 gallons. It is good for 25, 26 laps. As soon as you lose that, as soon as that drag gets on the front of the car, and, of course, your feet get very cold, then, yeah, fuel consumption goes to the roof. Lift and coast, letting the gears go through, not going to full RPMs, not enough. Pit road's a requirement.
Well, Matthew
if
Daniels
doesn't, then, well, he didn't take 2.1.
Well, Matthew Daniels actually did have himself an issue down at the final corner. It's been a while since we've seen that, but Daniels, he is back out onto the racetrack after getting himself a new front nose. Upside down and around he went. As here's a look then at your top 5 right now. It's Mercer from Joe, from Sharp, from Brennan, from Adcock. Then Draskowski, Vidovic, O'Brien, Simpson, and Sinerson rounding out your top 10 into the last 5 laps of this fast-packed race. Is O'Connell battling right now on the outside of Wayne Sanderson through turn number 1, and another driver not being able to make that high line work. And this is what we saw on Sunday night, Rachel. Very difficult to make the pass there. No driver has really been able to make it stick yet.
No, it's a really tough place to try that one. Very line-sensitive corner. You're coming through the first part of it really on the brakes. It's not really 2 apexes, it's one late one, Will. The first one, like I said, you're arriving on the brakes, just trailing off the power until you get round. That's late apex and back on, and it's not as, it looks like a tempting passing opportunity, and it really ends up not being.
Well, there's a little bit of lap traffic that might well come into play in this race as well. As you can see, side by side, once again, Job with that number 33 car, and Mark Mercer down to that first corner. 4 laps to go this time by, and again, Job can't make the position stick out that first corner. Behind, they are still running line of stern. Although, coming up into this party is that driver of Stuart Adcock, and there you can see him right now, just working himself past that lap of traffic. In fact, Rachel, this has really cost him trying to get himself past that number 83 machine of Jimmy Clark.
Yeah, it has, of course. Jimmy Clark, he's down a couple of... No, he's not. Yes, he is. He's down a lap, Will. So that's definitely something that's not helped Stuart Adcock. Had some bad luck recently, but been in good position here. 5th, which is not as high as we've seen him in quite a while. We know he's got pace, and if these guys at the front back any harder, he'll be joining this fight in very hungry positions.
Yeah, they can see as they work themselves out the final corner. 3 laps to go this time by Robert Plumley, by the way. He's working himself side by side as they come down. This is going to be up the hill, and you can see this is where it gets really scary. Plumley having to get out of the gas there, but he's going to stay side by side as they come down second to last corner. You can see he can make a pass there as Plumley moves himself now up into the 16th position on the racetrack. It's still Mercer leading the way with 2.5 laps to go, side by side as well. 3 wide down and towards turn number 1 here, Rachel. Simpson, O'Brien, and Savidovic battling for the same piece of real estate. They all somehow made it through. They're still 2 wide behind Savidovic as they come down in towards turn 2. Chris Simpson ahead of Brendan O'Brien.
Well, he will be if he does, and he completes this one out of turn 2. Will Simpson getting a good move there. Held it on the outside. Managed to make that one stick. That's exactly what you want to do. Harder in reality than it is in theory. But back at the front, of course, this has not changed right now. Adcock, I don't think he's going to get there in time right now. So it's Brennan and Sharp looking for a final podium spot. But right now, Mercer and Job, we just don't know who's going to win out of the 2 of them. Will Job have something up his sleeve now in his dying laps for Mercer? That is the critical question.
2 laps to go, and you can see that Sharp is getting racy now. And again, Job side by side down towards turn number 1, and Job just hanging it all out to dry here. Can he retake that race lead from Mercer? You can see they were playing games earlier on. It's now Job trying to find a way past on the outside of turn number 2. Not going to be close enough as they work themselves down into 3, 4, and 5. We did see passing here yesterday, but it's not quite going to be close enough behind. You can see that O'Brien is putting that that Brennan now is putting that pressure on to keep sharp as Job. Thinking about making the same move that Plumley did a couple of laps ago. We go back on board of him then. The run down to the second to last corner. Joe down to the inside here. Can he make it stick? The answer will be they'll stay side by side through the final corner. but Mercer will just about be able to hold on. Will Job slow it down? He will. They'll stay side by side. The white flag out this time by. The most important thing is that Sebastian Job has the inside line down to that first corner, and now Keith Sharp comes to the party, 3 wide, down towards turn number 1. Oh!
Big contact, Will. That was the car there of Sharp, sticking it in the middle, I think. It was. Keith Sharp arriving there in the braking zone between those two leaders. And, of course, Mercer comes across. Mercer tags Sharp and the back end of Job. Wow, that was just tragic. What an end of the race we could have had. Job, he worked so hard. He got that inside line and, wow.
Well, of course, we don't know how Job's car is going to work in a high-speed corner, and Dominic Brennan in second place is ready to pounce if anything happens up the hill. You can see Brennan is looking close right now, just 0.2 of a second, so this one isn't yet over. Sebastian Job, has he had too much damage done to that car? Will he be able to hold it on for the final corner? They work themselves into that one now. It will be Sebastian Job versus Dominic Brennan down towards start-finish line. It will be Sebastian Job by a car length taking victory here at the wonderful Lime Park. It will be Dominic Brennan in second place by just 66 one-thousandths of a second. Adcock in third. Great performance by him. And as is traditionally, Rachel, these cars just go on straight on. Let the wrecking commence.
Yeah, indeed. Wow. Adcock knew he was in a good one for this one, Will. Going to finish 5th, top 5. First in quite a while for him. And comes through, ends up on the podium. Wow, Mercer has to be kicking himself. Sharp, I'm not sure if I'd have put my nose in there. He comes down the middle of 2 cars battling for the lead. 3 wide into turn 1 never works here. And it was his car that made it 3 wide. I have to blame him for putting it there because I don't think Mercer knew he was there when he moved across.
Yeah, let's get ourselves a replay of this one. You can see that Job had the inside line at the final corner. We will slow it down right here. You can see Job goes down to the inside, and then that number 33 car of Mercer moves to the outside. Keith Sharp, opportunistic there, and he puts his car down into the middle. Now, at this point in time, you can see that they are all pretty much even Stevens, and then Sharp actually just doesn't turn into the corner as early as that driver, the number 33 car does. And from that, we have ourselves a melee that we saw. The number 33 car, unfortunately, finishing further down the field than he would have wanted to. And there you can see Mark Mercer in that number 33 car. We'll get ourselves another couple of looks at that one. But, well, controversial, crazy, I'm going to say more realistically, finish to this race. You see there, another look, the car's coming down in towards turn number 1. 3 abreast, and they're not even using the pit lane at this point. Down towards that first corner, and I do have to say there that number 32 car just didn't turn into the corner as early as that number 33 car expected him to. And racing into an overall, Rachel, but opportunistic there. We had WrestleMania last night, and that number 33 car is Sharp, about as opportunistic as the old wrestler known as Edge.
Well, you know, I don't follow wrestling, of course, but, well, the UK Night Skippys Barber Racing School Series, of course, offering far more than enough theatre for us to handle, so, it was a tough one to call, of course. Like I say, opportunistic, but you take your chances in racing. It's a game of taking chances, a game of putting the car where it shouldn't. There've always been times when we've gone, okay, I'm going to take this 3 wide. I probably shouldn't, but oh well, YOLO. I can't believe I said that, but never mind. He had to take the opportunity. It was there, presented to him. I think he gave Job more room than he needed and didn't turn in quite as soon, you're right. Mercer perhaps could have looked, but who knows, racing incident.
Well, I am going to have to, Rachel, get the epic pen out.
You are.
I am, and the reason for this is I've had another couple of looks of it, and it does look incredibly interesting. We'll just speed it up a little bit, and we'll slow it down right about here. And if we can zoom that camera in, what you can see at this particular point in time, and actually we're not going to be able to do 2 things at once here, you can see that number 33 car actually starts turning into the corner before either the 31 car of Job or the 32 car of Sharp is doing so. Ironically, Rachel, with the 31, the 32 and the 33 car lining up alongside of each other, I'm not quite sure if these guys thought they were playing Club UK Island Bingo or not.
Well, Bingo or Dodgems, one of the 2, but Lime Rock Park, I mean, these guys are incredible, Will. They really are, and I have to say this to start with. These are some of the best open wheel races I have ever seen on iRacing. And yes, I even place them again above some of the pros. They're just amazing, and unfortunately when you put them on a track like Lime Rock Park, it's 7 corners, and it's short, it's fast. Everybody always seems to lose their mind and silly things happen. You know, it's just so tempting.
Final race results then here from round number 2 of the Club Yukon Island Skip Barber Racing School Series, where Dominic Brennan cannot get the job done over Sebastian Job. He finishes 51 thousandths of a second back. Job once again a race winner as Stuart Adcock comes home in 3rd. Mark Mercer in 4th. Rafael Draskaz in 5th. Keep Sharp, Roderick Swedovic, Chris Simpson, Brendan O'Brien and Wayne Tannison rounding out your top 10. On to page 2, it's Mark O'Connell, and then Graham Forrest in 12th position, Rob Green in 13th, Mark Turner in the 14th position, 15th place will go to Adrian Bidwell, Robert Plumley in 16th, Alan Patterson in the 17th position, Matthew Daniels, a disappointing day for him, he was running inside the top 10 at one point, Sam Everest in the 19th position, and Fahim Atanides, well, he finishes again in a very low scoring position, his second day in a row, he finishes in the 20th position on the racetrack. Andy Kay, after a good start to this race, will finish no higher than P21. Ross McWilliam in the 22nd position. Darrell Taylor in 23rd. Jimmy Clark, he did have a role to play in the last couple of laps. He came home in 24th. Dean Prime, Rich Jones, Mike Cannon, Tim Adcock, Jason McMurray, and James Steele rounding out your top 30. And then the final end of your results, David Grunhill and Clark Williams both classified as out of the race. Well, Rachel, it's been another entertaining day here in the Club Yukon Island Skip Barber Racing School Series. Next time out, the English people, the Club Yukon Island people even, they head themselves to the Lounge Down Under to Phillip Island.
Yeah, they do, and Phillip Island's an incredible track. Looking forward to some amazing racing that week. It's going to be super exciting.
Well, that is a track where we had a chat with Philippe Leber yesterday from the 2K World Cup, and he said that you are going to get a lot of 2 and 3 wide racing, but it'll be a slingshot type of racetrack because the corner radii is closed off so much in the 2nd, 3rd of the turn. You've really got to make your pass early. So you're not going to see a bit like Sonoma, you're going to get 3 wide the entire way. But you are going to get a lot of passing rates because you've got one of the longest straightaways in the entirety of the World Championship Series. You've got yourself that fascinating run out of 2 down towards 4. And then that 2 wide accent we are going to see, I think, will be for the final 2 corners. Our photo finish cameras need to be polished up for next week.
Definitely, it's an awesome circuit. That final corner, so fast. Even in these cars, it'll be an incredible race.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all. Sorry, we have time for here in the 2nd round of the Club Yukon Island Skip Barber Racing School Series here on RaceSpotTV. Myself, Will Vinson, and Rachel Whiteford. We shall talk to you all next time. Bye bye.